Innovation doesn't happen in isolation. At Zircuit, we believe the future is built by builders. That's why we're spotlighting exceptional builders everywhere. Those building on complementary ecosystems and advancing Web3 for everyone. Whether you're building on Zircuit, building alongside us, or building something entirely new, this is your community. Welcome to Builders Showcase. Let's build the future together. Exploring GESIM, and we have here Charchit. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah, it's Charchit.
Charchit. Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, pleasure to meet you. And I guess can you, to start us off, like introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about GSIM.
Yeah. First of all, I really appreciate Pavel for setting up this call for us to present our project in front of your community. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone's time. Meow meow. So in Web3 we say GM, but here I would say meow meow. So I hope it doesn't feel awkward if I say that. So yeah, just telling you a bit about myself. So I'm Charchit. I've been in Web3 from last 5 years, professionally working from last 2.5 years, and working in having worked in companies like the Graph and Gear Foundation gave me a very good exposure of traveling, nomadism, and how things moves in crypto really fast. So while I was in Graph, I was required to travel to different continents because of the work. So there I realized that there is a big fragmentation in travel connectivity. Like if we go particularly in travel connectivity, uh, I would say fragmentation in travel eSIMs because your traditional infrastructure is already very good. Like the global mobile connectivity is very good, what but the major problems comes with the payment and identity side of it. So there are multiple, like if you ever bought a eSIM while traveling to some other countries, it gives you multiple points, parameters, or different datas if you have ever seen it on your device. So our objective is simple: to aggregate all this information, create a one unified identity, give it to the end user to make the UX more seamless, and bring micro payment settled uh, in real time, in real instant, in a trustless format, cross borderly. So that's our main objective. With blockchain, we are bringing identity and payment on the table, so user gets the best experience possible, not just in Web3 communities, but also Web2 user could feel, yes, this UX is what required if I ever need travel eSIM. So yes, this is about me and the vision on which we are building.
Awesome. That's a very good vision to connect, the blockchain world with the eSIM and essentially bridging that gap in terms of usability. I guess to start us off, can you describe a little bit more about how you're actually doing that bridging? Like what are the complexities involved with bridging telecom with the blockchain settlement layer? So I know you do for example payments, you process payments via crypto. Is there any other types of ways that you utilize blockchain in your application?
Absolutely. Like, let me just share you my screen. Yeah. Uh, well, I have one more request. Like, if you can allow, like, my CTO is in the call. Like, his name is Rishik. If you can allow him to come on the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
like this I can.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
Yeah. So he's
perfect.
my CTO, and yeah. So
Hello
he look.
guys,
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
so far good.
Awesome.
So I guess Charchit, you can just take it from
Yeah. Yep. So coming to the main question, where do we actually utilize blockchain? So, uh, like if you ever let me just show you the our application right away. So, if you go to any travel eSIM plan or like travel eSIM providers, you would see bunch of different plans uh, on their website. So, showing you ours first. If you can see, there is a fragmentation in the plans, like 1.5 GB a day, and the next plan could go like 3 GB for 15 days, $2.2. As a traveler, it's difficult. As a to be more precise, as the first time traveler, I felt very difficult while selecting the right travel plan for me. So here comes the identity part. Like, uh, if I have to show you the image, like big companies, particularly Cisco and telecom companies in IoT sector, IBM are researching on how to make eSIM identity more track and traceable and aligned with your previous profile. Uh, for example, suppose you bought suppose you are in New York City and you bought a eSIM from Verizon, and you happen to go to San Francisco region because of it could be any reason your friend is calling or your boss requires you to be there in next 2 3 days, so it could be any reason. So there, the Verizon eSIM is not working and you required to buy AT&T's eSIM at that stage. So it is actually very difficult. If you imagine yourself in that situation, you have to buy another eSIM. With what we are doing is, from the Web2 companies, we are mapping all your profiles on a soulbound token, aggregating all these points in your eSIM and giving it a final code called as GESIM ID. GESIM implies a brand name. So with GESIM ID, with one single identity, you could have all your eSIM profiles mapped in a row. And for example, it also makes your eSIM more interoperable between your friends and telecom. With what I meant that, suppose me and Pavel went to Germany, we spent a good time there, and he required to travel to other country on a sudden. And then I asked him, Pavel, can you just give me your eSIM so that I can use it here? Uh, so that I can save extra bucks from my travel budget. So once Powell turn off his travel eSIM, it's deactivated. It cannot be activated again. So with with mapping all these profiles in a soulbound token, I can actually mint new activation code, and that activation code could be mapped to your previous profile. And with that model, it the your eSIM becomes actually shareable within your friends. And not just that, you can actually switch carrier in real time. With carrier, I simply meant mobile carriers. So you happen to need eSIM of T-Mobiles, you select that, and on the go, while hopping from country to country, you felt that T-Mobile is not working properly. You can switch your carrier in real time, like to Deutsche Telecom, or if you are not a very tech savvy person, you can always turn on the auto toggle mode. So currently we are building the prototype of this model, and it will be out in coming months. So your identity could actually make your eSIM more interoperable, not just between my friends, but also in the verticals of telecoms. So your here we solve the identity problem. Now comes the payment problem. So like for the payment, if I have to explain you guys, uh, like in a very simpler terms, cross border payments is not very much trusted between merchants to merchants, or between your uh, not merchants to merchants, between your credit card provider, your banks to the merchant in a cross border environment. Your Every time when you buy a service in some other country, it's always a bank who provides you EMI based on your credit card score, not it is not provided by that particular merchant. So it's a big problem settling the cross-border payment in real time. Here comes the GSIM, and like in the traditional business model of eSIM aggregators, they buy data in bulk from the mobile carriers like AT&T, Deutsche Telekom, T-Mobile, and then sell it to the end consumer with a profit. So that's very operational heavy. With smart blockchain based payments and identity, we are trying to build a carrier edge case so that I could directly, me as a consumer can directly connect to AT&T mobile, and I can switch carrier in real time. Like for example, I've used AT&T for let's say 5 days or 6 days, and now I need to shift on a Deutsche mobile. So I can just click on this button, and my payment will be settled in real time. So that's where we are building the identity and carrier edge case.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
very, very interesting how you allow that flexibility between decoupling the provider from the like distributor, and so as a result you can go directly to the provider. You can pay Dutch Telecom, you can pay whoever it is to use their service specifically without going through another service that basically buys in bulk. So in this way, achieving more choice for the consumer, and a way that you can decouple it from a individual service.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, and that definitely is a really unique use case for this settlement. And you mentioned briefly about the soulbound nature. So essentially, that I buy an eSIM, and that essentially I can transfer ownership from where I have it to someone else. In what, I guess, scenarios would that play into? Like if I'm typically, when I think of the eSIM, it's registered directly to, I might have to provide like some form of identification sometimes. Like in different countries, they have different requirements, I guess, like KYC and all of that. So how does that play into, that nature of me acquiring the SIM, the eSIM, in this way, like through the Soulbound token? Like, do I have to go through like a KYC process? Is there, when doing like this sharing, as you mentioned, like what does that involve and entail?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a very good question. And every time when I talk about my product with the with the people, or like with my potential customer, they always come up with this question. So yeah, it always varies from country to country. Like in countries like Hong Kong, India, United States, your rules are very much flexible. You don't need to do KYC, but still these mobile aggregators, they ask for your passport so that they could track your travel history, monetize on it. And if I have to talk specifically about these group of people like who travel often, they comes in a very premium niche market of the world, which on which their data could be monetized. So again, it depends on country to country. And in countries like Turkey, the government just banned your eSIM MVNOs, mobile virtual network operators. So tourists found it very difficult to bought a eSIM in Turkey. Like if they have bought eSIM from their home country and they land in Turkey, they could just turn it on and use it right away. So with Soulbound token, what we are doing is uh, like with uh, we are focusing on building a cross domain and ecosystem around travel. With cross domain, I simply meant attaching your VPN with your eSIM. Suppose you turn on your VPN and you bought a eSIM and you paid in crypto, it is practically impossible to track the particular person from where he's buying the eSIM. Like this solves most of the problem, but when it comes to the KYC of actually activating in a restrictive country, that still need to be thought in the coming years. And with coming years, I simply meant currently we are using APIs of our connectivity partners. We are already in the partner program, just like in Web3, they have incubation program of different ecosystem. They do have the similar. So working closely with them as well. So once we have our own SMDP plus server, like SMDP enables remote SIM provisioning. Once we have that, we would be having more flexibility of what kind of uh, data we are actually pulling from person's smartphone. So if we could minimize the information we are pulling from person's smartphone, it could be your EID, your IMSEI number from your smartphone, and make a ZK proof of it and provision or eSIM through that, it could actually make the compliance much easier in a very practical terms. So that's our main idea. First, launch in these high tourism, crypto friendly countries, and then once we getting the traction, once we have the product market fit, then set up our own telecom server, map out why these countries require KYC, make a ZK proof of it, or make a off verifiable off-chain proof, and then bring it to a server. This could actually make compliance easier. Like from our research, this is what we have got till now. And on adding on top of it of Soulbound token, with talking specifically about building a cross-domain ecosystem around travel, I simply meant that suppose you have bought, suppose you're traveling to 3 4 countries in one go, and you happen to buy travel insurance separately for all these countries. That makes trust very difficult. So your eSIM activation in a particular country is the most trustful way of proving that yes, you have traveled to those countries other than your passport stamp. So having the ZK proof of all these eSIM activations, you can actually prove to this travel insurance that yes, I have traveled to this particular country. And suppose you went to a country, you got your leg fracture, and you have 4 5 travel insurance for every single country. Every like in this situation, the your travel insurance company can actually say that you have not been to that accident was not occurred in that particular country. Instead, it has occurred to some other country which in which you were traveling. So having a medical report at the same time proper ZK proof of it can actually build trust. And on top of that, you could have better airport lounge access. Like suppose a person having a profile of moving to 10 15 countries in a year, why won't a company want to provide him discounts to access his airport lounge? Or let's talk about Web3. So I was talking to the partnership lead of this crypto credit card company, and I asked him like, what's your ideal customer profile? He simply told me that person who uses crypto, or like he's a business person who needs to travel to 4 5 countries in a row, or like in a year, that he's my ideal customer. So if we I am able to provide a proof and able to provide the proof, giving ZK points or having the ZK attestation, it could actually build a good cross domain travel ecosystem without actually sharing your information. So that's the overall idea of how we would be going into the market first, having sorting the KYC, and then building a holistic ecosystem around it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. Like I like what you mentioned in terms of the generation of a ZK proof, privacy preserving aspects to basically prove where you were. And as a result, that could lead to people getting these digital eSIMs, and as a result, having these soulbound tokens be associated with other activities, and you can layer it with other benefits like the lounge access that you mentioned, and maybe there's other crypto benefits, right? Like now that you know that the person that has the eSIM likely is a real person, and then you can start associating that with other activities, maybe like airdrops or different things, other incentive mechanisms to get people to come in and start joining more so of the crypto space, and then also staying with the real world and getting the benefits of a SIM card as well. So very, very interesting way to layer that functionality. And then also, that privacy preserving nature where you can use like ZK-TLS to attest to things like KYC and then still have that as associated to your soulbound token. So very cool ways to leverage this technology in a way where people can directly benefit from this these things working together. So I guess like for this, now you have this utility, you have this soulbound token, the concept of these the cross provider. I guess when you're building these different types of connections and associations, how do you plan to make this experience, let's say, seamless to people maybe like not in crypto? What are the different types of flows that you're experiencing or you're experimenting with to get people to join and use GSIM in this way? Like I know the onboarding experience for Web3 right now is you download a wallet, or like you get like a browser wallet, and then with that browser wallet you then make these interactions, put in your seed phrase and all of that. What kind of flow are you looking for when implementing this for GSIM? Is it going to be like standard with like a social login, like login with Google, and then maybe like some type of magic with the, there's Magic Wallet, I guess, where like it associates like a social account with your crypto wallet. How are you envisioning that onboarding flow looking like?
Mhm. Yep, yep. That's a very important aspect we should be focusing on our product. So from the day one, I got very inspired from Polymarket, and I've been their loyal gambler on their platform. So I realized that they have cracked the user onboarding from Web 2. And from that, our model gonna be very simple. You come to our platform in the sense application, Android, iOS, or our website, just like you bought a airline ticket. You select your desired destination, choose the data plan, or as a first time traveler, it could be confusing that what kind of data plan you need. You can always select how many days you need to be there, then just make your own custom plan, pay it, and install it. So let me just give you a quick demo, and you can actually use that eSIM right away on your smartphone. So can you see me a screen?
Yes.
Can you see the this mobile view?
Yes, I can. We can see
Yep.
it.
So the user flow gonna be very simple. See, I haven't signed in right now, like haven't mint my identity, haven't done anything, haven't uh, put it the funds. I would just simply go to the plans. Like in the coming future, the we would also be focusing on making the UI UX more seamless. But on the user side of it, you can actually feel that how simple it gonna be. So you click on pay on usage. Suppose you want to go to Canada and United States at the same time. You select how many days you need to be there, and so, oh, just a second. Can you still see it? Yeah. And you need almost 1.5 GBs a day. Let's keep it less because I don't have that much. And then you just connect your wallet. I think it's not working with this. Uh, Here you could also we can also do with your prepaid plans of buying 100 MBs 7 days $0.3. I guess it's not working. I would simply have to make login from here itself. Yep.
Oh yeah, you're using Privy for the onboarding. I know that's like very standard, simple social based login, or like email in this case.
Yep. I have put the wrong email. Sometimes I do silly mistakes. Just pardon me.
That's okay.
Yep. Now we are here. You could just select your plan, pay, and just directly pay from your wallet. I've already put it some funds in it. So just pay it. Order eSIM activation. And yes, you can use it right away and it's working. You can
Awesome.
anyone can just scan it and use it right away. Yeah. So
And
that's our major plan of onboarding people.
and
Yeah.
what providers are you connected with in those regions? Are they is there anyone specific in that you're using for the United States, or or Canada, or like who are you partnering or partnered with to deliver this service?
Mhm. Yep. So we are in the partner programs of uh, these three telecom companies like Eralo, eSIM, Axis, and Telnex. Like these are not going to be our long-term partners. We are just leveraging their APIs so we can actually test the user behavior, test our uh, payment and identity solution. Once we have that in place, once we have that validated, we would directly partner with AT&T, Verizon. I got in touch with AT&T people in Singapore, and these guys are closely watching crypto as their next big opportunity, in the sense that building a carrier edge case of directly connecting these telecom companies to your end user can increase their average revenue per user, like simply cutting the middleman. It has the potential to increase the average revenue per user for these companies. At the same time, me as a consumer could get more seamless, well coordinated data and much cheaper. because telecom may seems like, yes, you have 5G internet, you have companies like Ericsson, Huawei, and these big companies providing 5G, but there are still many stakeholders in between before you connect to that service. So just having a good identity and coordination could solve a lot of issues, and the end goal is to have our own eSIM provisioning, make our holistic ecosystem around ZK proofs, partnering with Web2 companies, and like a lot of partnerships are coming up. And in Web3, it's much easier to partner with service providers and making a mobile app much better and simpler for the end user. So I feel like with the direction in which we are going, like till now, always open to the feedback, is somewhat could push more privacy centric eSIM adoption, and uh, could be actually beneficial not just for the end user but could be for the potential partners in the coming future.
That's cool. Demonstrate the use case, the value proposition with the initial providers, and then connect with the larger providers and negotiate with them. I don't know if you know about Helium. I think they did somewhat of a similar um, they started out as let's say like a mobile a data provisioning company. What you basically set up a node, and then that provides internet access to different people on the Helium network. And I think they got bought out by a larger company, and it was all U.S. based. So very yeah, demonstrate a proven use case, and then essentially get people to join and register and essentially create their unique IDs, and then now you have the access to layer on additional functions and features in a way where like the value proposition of coming here is the eSIM, and then you layer it on with additional functions, and then you can make it more applicable to different use cases that way. So then that gives entry point to these larger providers to then start providing services in the crypto space. And I'm very, very interesting to see that you're already connecting with larger providers in Singapore. So I definitely think that it's a worthwhile investment for them to look at this new emerging market. Yeah, no, very, very cool what you have built, and then essentially what the service that you've provided. I guess when thinking about the developments, like when you're looking at expansion or like the addition of different features. So you see the base of it, where you have the ability to associate different types of parameters to the Soulbound token, and then you have that value proposition associated with it with the eSIM. What do you see in terms of expansion of GSIM? Where do you see the next steps in this journey? And I guess do you see any potential difficulties or what are your overall thoughts of the future?
Mhm. Yeah. So starting from Helium itself, again, big fan of the engineering, big fan like how they've set it up the infrastructure, bringing the stakeholders in the network, but not a big fan of the vision, because why would you need additional infrastructure if you have already a robust connectivity solution in the world? Why would you need that? Why would you need to build and deepen? Why would you need to have token as the incentivization model? Why would you need that? you can just simply make the existing telecom more coordinated by simply having better identity and cross-border payment solution, and it can solve lot of your problem. You could sell directly to these big companies that I would be all they care about is volume. Volume could be created with performance marketing, reaching out to the right people. It could be your from Instagram, Airbnb communities, and travel related big travel related companies. Start the pilot from there. Market it like a Web 2 product. Once you have the volume, it is actually easy and practical to directly go to these big companies, build your own ecosystem out there. So last year, Aralo got $220 million funding in the Series B, making them the first unicorn in the eSIM marketplace, which actually validates the market is fast moving and the future is eSIM. Like getting 220 million in Web2 is not that easy. Like investors won't be having the option of getting exit through the tokens. All they need is revenue sharing or privately trading equities within the people. So that funding is signals a lot about this eSIM trend. And currently, if I have to tell you, the market currently is at the $5 billion, and it is expected to grow to $10 billion in next 3 to 4 years. And it's a very fast moving market. And we are building in the intersection of your travel eSIMs. Like currently it's 5 billion, and in the next 3 years it's gonna be 8.7 billion, and the CAGR is 66%. And stable coins and AI, we are building in the intersection of these three fast moving markets, which can actually make your user experience much more simpler and puts bring the revenue increase for these telecom providers powered by AI. Suppose in a very simpler terms, you as a user, you are a very chat savvy person on the go. All you need internet just to chat with your friends. So we would be dividing your bandwidth in quality of service with the help of AI. Would be providing you the only the relevant bandwidth, not that we want to provide you a very top quality bandwidth costing or draining your money. No, we would be analyzing the user behavior, keeping the data well encrypted in a privacy focused manner, providing you the relevant bandwidth, saving enormous cost for the end user. And if I am able to save enormous cost for you as a user, your lifetime value gonna be increased on our platform. And once uh, it increases, the mobile network carrier revenue automatically increases with the time. Like their average revenue per user gonna increase with the matter of time. And now coming to the expansion part. So yeah, it's a very uh, important step to really expand our product. So our first user gonna be coming from crypto, and our first pre-seed or seed round gonna be from crypto only. So because we are building in a on identity and payment solution, so pre-seed gonna be coming from here, seed gonna be coming from here, early user gonna be coming from here. You could, if you want more privacy, just uh, deposit your crypto, use it. And the next step gonna be make it more fiat friendly. We could make it more fiat friendly right away in the app itself, and just on ramp and off ramp uh, through different providers. We are focusing on making it more fiat friendly application once we have the early validation from crypto and business people, to be more precise. Once that is validated, we would go out uh, towards your Instagram community. Once we have that validated with early travelers, we would be going towards Airbnb's nomad community. would be piloting through them, would be providing an eSIMs through those close communities of Airbnb, and then we would be moving out to conferences, not your Web3 typical conference, but in general conference related to IoT or connectivity. So uh, the channels gonna be like your Twitter. The first channels I would be directly messaging my friends and community partnership in crypto. Like Zircuit is one community uh, in uh, in ZK subcategory of ZK, and many more communities are there. Like Crypto Nomads is there, DevCon is there. Just now I had a call with DevCon people. There we could provide our perks, and the major target customer is first crypto nomad and business people, then remote workers, Web3 enterprises, Web2 hardwares. So with Web3 enterprises, we could actually partner with Solana Mobile, Ethereum Mobile, and with Web2 brands, we could directly partner with OEMs, original equipment manufacturer. We could provide them our APIs, could make the IoT function in in a more well coordinated and connective manner. Like you can always switch your telecom in real time, and that makes the connectivity much more robust. Autonomous vehicle is one. And one more important thing I have noticed in my behavior. So when I was traveling to some other country, uh, and I was required to bought a eSIM with me. So I was easily, comfortably able to change it in my smartphone. But I was hesitant to change the eSIM in my smartphone, smart wristwatch, and I simply put my watch away without connectivity. So if you could have a well well mapped identity, you could actually use your travel eSIM in your two device at the same time on your wallet address. So that's another use case we have thought while researching these telecom papers and the identity solution. So it actually increases the scope of connectivity. And why limit yourself within deepen or making your own network owned infrastructure? Just partner with these companies. They require this solution very badly, and it's fragmented. And another fast moving market like Web3, eSIMs is very fast moving market, and just now it's like 2 to 3 billion, and it expect in next 4 years 70 to 80% smartphone gonna be shifting towards your eSIM. So build in the intersection of it and just keep the vision clear. So like nothing against to the team, love their engineering, love how they pull up the game, but uh, there are more bigger problems you could actually solve in the world.
I love it. Focus on the onboarding, focus on that solving the core problem of that experience. I remember for DevCon when I went to DevCon in Bogota, they actually gave out SIM cards, like physical SIM cards with data associated with it, and you had to like replace your own and go through that process of essentially getting data in different countries, and it just it makes sense to transition over in this way, especially because you're providing this service for audiences related to that nature of onboarding, using existing infrastructure that's already provided by these big established entities, but you're solving that problem of onboarding, of getting people essentially better connected without going through 50 different types of uh, of loops, and having to essentially register with these external providers as well. So very, very cool, very interesting. I wanted to maybe shift. I have two more questions. I wanted to shift to the competition. So you mentioned in your proposal that TruePhone is your closest competitor. So what makes GSIM potentially different or better than TruePhone?
Mhm. Yep. So TruePhone is your traditional mobile virtual network operator, big company, very operational heavy, having too many employees. Uh, if I talk about their situation and their operational aspect, so they buy data in bulk from these big carriers, sell it to the people on a commission. Having their own virtual network enabler, which simply means your OSS, BSS, telecom centric CRM, telecom uh, way of billing how much connectivity is used by the per person. So this is what they are, and this is how they are operating. What we are doing is, with having all these important aspects, especially billing and identity attached on chain, having your personal identifiable information off chain in a verifiable off chain proofs in a well encrypted manner, easing the compliance. Like in the traditional companies, traditional mobile virtual network operator, you cannot have your single cloud storage because of the data protection law, because you cannot take the data from the people in United States, Europe, China, India to some other region, settle there. So that's practically not possible, increasing their operational cost. We would be having uh, like the data required to be shared between different people. We could have that on chain. FHE from Inco is one implementation we are looking right now. We are not confirmed whether we would be using it. Smart ZK attestation is what is also we are researching right now, and having important parameters on chain with proper encryption can actually solve this problem of having uh, having complex operations within the company. It can actually solve that. It can ease the compliance, make it uh, less operationally difficult. And on top of that, we are building a carrier edge case. So once we have that uh, word in the market, once we have those right people backing us, uh, once we are slightly move out from Web3, have our own telecom SMTP plus server, that's not a very big challenge, to be very honest. I've seen the cost is not too much, like 10k 15k a month. Like with good backing, it's not that much amount of money. So having a carrier edge case of directly connecting those companies directly to your end user, making sure that once me as a consumer pays in stable coin, they get their payment in fiat in a trustless trustless manner, can actually solve uh, lot of trouble between different stakeholders in telecom. And I also wanted to share one more important point. uh, you could have those mapped out. Okay. And yeah, let's yeah, coming to our technical architecture. So user sign in, front end can sign in from their paymaster, billing engine. So this is our technical architecture. And I'm forgetting that point. Would tell you like that point was very important. So we'll tell you guys later in the chat itself, tagging at the rate everyone and share that point. So yeah, that's how
Yeah,
we are bringing the carrier edge case.
yeah, no worries. Definitely a very good explanation in terms of what you're providing in
Yeah,
terms of the.
I'm sorry, I just
Oh, you
remembered
remembered
that.
it. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, sometimes stuff happens like this. So coming to the point. we could have those telecom CRM well planned on chain, map the carrier directly to the end user, and earn on per activation. It and per activation cost. Suppose you bought a eSIM from Verizon through our platform or like AT&T. It could be any plan, but buying eSIM through us would you would just give us the activation cost. It would be like $1 between. We haven't figured out the price, but it could be between $5 to $10 because you would be having one eSIM and you can use it in any part of the world, having proper holistic travel ecosystem around it. So I don't think business people and crypto people mind paying $5 per activation and on the price which they directly get from the carrier in on a wholesale rate. And you can just simply, for example, go to Hong Kong and pay the local price right away in your eSIM. So what happened is you go to that particular country, buy a physical plastic SIM card, connect locally to the network and pay the local price. With the carrier edge case, you could actually directly map to that particular telecom player on your travel eSIM and pay the local price. So that's majorly our vision is going towards. Yeah.
Perfect. More interconnected, and you don't have to essentially register like you do. Like I know like in a Rollo, I used it before, and you have to essentially create a new eSIM for every single for every single place that you essentially go to. You create your own eSIM, and as a result, like I have like 8 or 9 different eSIMs that I generate just for
It's,
one
it's
location.
like collecting fridge magnets in your smartphone.
Exactly. And then you can only activate it once, and then it might not,
Yeah.
work if you try to reactivate it. And so then you're like
Mhm.
you're like, I don't know where any of these are used, and I'm only going to use it once. And so you essentially simplify that process, collect them all into one, and then that way you can associate so many different unique characteristics for that. Very
Mhm.
cool. I like that.
Yeah.
And I guess final question before we wrap up, and I guess like if any of the audience members wants to ask a question as well after this, we'll see. If we can answer them as well. But for the question, you're building on Zircuit. Can you tell us why you chose us and what makes it special?
Mhm. Yep, yep. So I first got to meet Martin in Singapore, got inspired by his vision of having Z- ZK and Circuit to be more precise in Web3. I met him, well, like mainly because I met the founder. Then in Def Connect, Thailand, I again got to meet him. I also got to meet Mirko from the circuit, inspired by the vision of building in zero knowledge technology. So fast forward, ZK is the ideal ecosystem for us because we are building in privacy. To be more precise, building the mapping out the important parameters in traditional telecom and understanding where privacy matters the most and where privacy could ease the compliance. And I all uh, just now Eid Global New Delhi wrapped up, and there I also got to meet Ethereum Foundation people. They got interested with the ideas, and they gave us the recommendation: go to or build only in ZK-centric communities, have your research right, have your implementation right, and build from there. So that's from there. I I see Zircuit as the ideal ecosystem where we can build our solution.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that insight. Glad that you met the founders and ecosystem team, and then you see that ZK alignment is where you see that 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 connectivity piece. So amazing, great to hear that. Let's see if we have any questions from the audience. I don't think we do, but it was really great to meet you, Charchit. Hopefully I said it right. I'm sorry. But it was great to meet you. And then Hrishki, hopefully I'm probably butchering it as well. But thank you for joining this session. Very great to see what GESIM has in store for the future, and keen to see any updates in any updates as they come along. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today for the builder session. And if there's anything that you want to leave the audience with, any final thoughts or different just any final thoughts you'd want to say before we wrap up.
Yeah. So again, Meow community, thanks for having us. Really appreciate your time. So if you ever need a eSIM or you're planning your next crypto conference, just tag me here in the Discord itself. Like, I'm very active on Discord, and I would be very happy to provide you a privacy centric eSIM. And in the upcoming future, our focus is to reduce the price to the local level. So uh, like if you are going to Dev Connect Argentina, so our solution is already working in Argentina, and you could just use right away and install it in your smartphone. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much again for joining. And I guess I'll see you in the chats.